All right, I don't know, do you need this?
I will.
Okay.
Yes. She said I'm out of here.
Yep.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm gonna amend it since I've talked in front of a room full of people. So if I start talking very fast, someone yell at me, so slow down. If you don't know me, I'm Jordan with Diane Endeavors. I'm here every Tuesday helping you guys with all of your print marketing. I'm with a company called Diane Endeavors. We do all sorts of fun things. The main thing I kind of want to talk to you guys today about is going to be 36 Touch. So 36 Touch essentially is just a systematic way of staying in contact with the people who know you, your database, your sphere, all of that good stuff. Does anyone in here already have a 36 Touch that they run for their people? Anybody have a contact plan that maybe isn't 36 touches, but it's a few touches?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, that's a big thing I'm going to be hitting on today is in the absence of the very best tool, use the best tool available. Do what you can do it consistently. That's better than not doing anything at all. So, something I put together for all of us, everybody should have one of these on their desks. It is going to be it's a 36 touch planner. So on the inside of it, we have some database math in there. If you don't have one, there's some spares on the desks and there's some under my chair there too, if you want to grab an extra. We're going to be talking about some of this math today. It talks a little bit about the different seasons of the database, and most of it is going to be a calendar where it's designed for you guys to put in what you're planning out for your 36 touch. So you're welcome to use it today and plan out, what's left of this year. And I can always bring more if you want another one for 2026 to plan that out. If you just want to write down ideas as we talk about them today, it's really just there to be a tool for you guys. All of the stuff in there, it's just different fun samples and things that we've done over the years for people. I'll have some on the board too. Everybody's will probably be a little bit different. So if your neighbor has something that you really like, just steal it from them or ask them to see it. So 36 touch, we've covered, it's a system of staying in contact. The people over at Keller Williams that know all of the math and are probably much better at math than I am are the ones that came up with that magical 36 number. It used to be 33 touch, like back in the original Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, it was a 33 touch plan. It's been updated just because in today's era, there's so much information coming at people all of the time. You can't check your phone without seeing an ad. There's ads as you drive, ads as you stand in line. So it's been upped to that 36 touch number. So a touch is really any type of targeted communication with someone in your database. That can look a whole bunch of different ways. That can be email newsletters, that can be events, phone calls, texts, physical mailers, personal cards that you mail people, conversations when you see them in public. A touch can really look any way that you would like it to. And I always like to encourage people, focus on what you enjoy doing and you can be consistent doing when it comes to your touches. So if you're somebody who hates picking up the phone and calling people, do texts instead. Phone calls are still probably a better way, but if you're not going to do a phone call, it's better to do a text rather than say you're going to do something and not do it. So a touch can really be anything that is connecting you with your database. The typical structure for a 36 touch is 12 emails. So an email a month, 12 pieces of physical mail, so one mailer a month, 4 personal cards, so like a birthday card, a home anniversary card, a happy wedding anniversary, happy, 1-year homeownership, anything along those lines. If it's a mother or father, you can send a mother, father. Thank you for a referral. Those all fall in the personal card category. 4 events and then 4 quarterly phone calls. However, as we've already started talking about, people can structure their 36 touch in different ways. So if you're somebody who's just getting started and perhaps you don't have a huge marketing budget right now to be doing the more expensive like mailer pieces or doing events, you can restructure yours to be more phone call and text centric or more emails. if you're somebody who enjoys doing pop buys, you could work in to do quarterly pop buys and replace some of the other touches that maybe you don't enjoy as much. So this I pulled straight from I think it's from MREA, yes. So it's talking about modifying it. The point is to be systematic as you make regular contact. So what that means to me is it's not one day when you're slow, it's July, there's not that much going on. You're like, oh, I'm gonna call every single person in my database. And then they don't hear from you again until it's January. You've done your business plan and you're like, oh, I really should reach out to these people. And you send out an email and they don't hear from you again until you feel it's slow. You know, be systematic. Decide in advance what you're going to be doing so you can be intentional with what you're doing. So it's not random. You know, you can do it any way you want to do it. It's better that you modify it so that it works for you, but know that the consistency is an important aspect of it. It's better to send things more frequently than less frequently. And that's just because when we stay in touch, we stay top of mind. And that is super, super important. Of course, when people are trying to buy and sell, you want to be top of mind, but also when they hear that friends and family are thinking about moving, you want that connection immediately to be, oh, you need to use my real estate agent. They're great. They'll take great care of you. So when we're talking about marketing and doing a 36 touch, that is going to be geared towards our MET contacts. So MET contacts are going to be those people who already know, like, and trust us. The other type of people who we can market to is going to be a non-MET. So it's people who don't already know you. That's something you hit more with farming, your listing marketing, golden letters. Anyone have any thoughts on why, when we're marketing, how marketing to MET contacts looks a little bit different than non-MET contacts? How would we structure it a little differently? Would the approach be a little bit different?
More personal.
Personal,
Yeah.
you already know the people that are in your Met, so you know what their interests are, so.
Yeah. And I think another key with that is, yes, you already know them, you know their interests, but they know you. They already have that relationship built with you, unlike a non-MET who doesn't know who you are. A MET is somebody who already knows you either from using you before or knows you from a social group or from a past job that you've had. And the difference with that is you have that relationship already established with them. We'll see that a little bit when we get to the MET section, how that looks a little bit different for your MET contacts versus your non-METs. I really liked this as well. So when you hear about a doctor or a lawyer who's selling they're selling their practice, sure, there might be a building and some equipment involved, but what is the main thing that they're selling? They're selling their database, the patients, the people who already use them. I think in real estate, we sometimes lose sight of the fact that our business really does come from our database. That's the heart of our business. And we should really focus on reaching out to and connecting with those people and, you know, reminding them that we're here to help since they already have that relationship built up with us. So who goes in my 36 touch? Who counts as somebody who goes in my database? It's really anyone who already knows, likes, and trusts you. So that includes, of course, past clients. You want them to use you again when they sell again. You also want them to refer you people. That includes your friends. That includes your family members. Often I hear agents say, oh, but my friends know to use me as a real estate agent. I don't have to tell them. Or, of course, my family knows I'm in real estate. Why would I have to tell them? Back in the day when I was using my real estate license more actively, my mom had a friend move down to Georgia and she used a different agent. I said, Mom, why didn't you tell her to use me? And she's like, oh, I forgot you were in real estate. So if my own mother could forget that I was in real estate, anyone can forget. And it's not because they don't like you. It's nothing personal. But if you're not doing your job of reminding them how you can help and how you can help their friends, they're not going to think of it. It's not going to be top of mind for them. So friends, family, your neighbors, if you know anyone that lives in your neighborhood, maybe you do some events with the HOA, maybe you just know some people from walking your dog, but those people in your database. People who you might know through hobbies or recreational activities. So that can be if you're part of a running club, a book club, if you play tennis, if you ride horses and know people from the barn. Think a little outside the box with the people that you know from those events because you've already taken that first step. You have that relationship with them and likely you're seeing them pretty regularly. So it just makes sense to include them in your database. If you had a career prior to real estate, put your past coworkers in there, put previous employers, people who already know you in a professional manner. It's just introducing them to the fact, you know, you've changed careers, you're now doing real estate, you can help them with that as well. So for your Met contacts, you can expect a 12-2 return ratio. So for every 12 people that are in your database that you market to consistently, you can expect about 2 deals per year. One is most likely going to be a repeat, so somebody using you again, a past client who maybe you helped buy a house and they're now selling that house and buying another home. And the other is a referral. So somebody who's in your database who has a friend or a friend of a friend who's moving, and they recommend or refer that person to you because you're top of mind with them. So the difference with that and a non-Met, I don't think I put this in my slides. So a non-Met contact, it's a 50-1 return ratio. So much, much lower than your Mets because, as we said, you already have that relationship with them. They already know you. They know you're a real person. You know, you're professional, you're friendly, you have their best interests at heart. So you can expect that higher ratio because they already have that relationship with you. So really focusing on those people who already know you is gonna not only get you more consistent results, they're also gonna be a little bit cheaper because you don't have to market to as many people to get the same return as you do when you're marketing to non-Mets. And that's from Gary Keller himself. So I think he knows a thing or two about real estate. All right, so this is in the planner. My goal with this was to have you guys kind of follow along and do your own math on your transactions in here. So the first is going to be figuring out what our current conversion rate for our database is. So to do that, you take the total number of contacts in your database, you divide that by the number of transactions you closed last year, and that will get you to your conversion rate. Real quick, what is a contact? I say, how many contacts are in your database? What qualifies somebody as a contact?
You've had a 2-way interaction with them. or-
Yes, and also for getting very particular with it, it's somebody who you have their first and last name,
Phone number and email address.
phone number, email address, and I would add, if you can get their mailing address, that's just 1+, also like a birthday in there is great, but what you said, name, phone number, email address are the main requirements of a contact. You can use any CRM for your database. Again, it's about what you'll use, what you use consistently. I think Command is a really great one. I think it has a lot of excellent tools in there. I'm by no means an expert, but I've played around with it. I think it had some great tools. So if you don't know where to start, I would start with that. You have it, it's free, might as well use it. So take your total number of contacts, divide it by the number of transactions you closed last year, and that gets you to your conversion rate. When it comes to conversion rates, there's not a hard and fast good conversion rate. I think it depends a little bit on how you market to your database and how you treat your database. So some agents have a very small database that they're doing a lot of communication with. They're doing a lot of very high value, high touch frequency with people. They would ideally be getting a higher conversion rate because they're really pouring into those people that they do have in there, even if it's only, say, 100 people in their database. Some agents have a much, much larger database who they reach out to and communicate or touch a lot less frequently. They would probably expect to see a lower conversion rate. So when you're looking at your conversion rate, it's really, what you find satisfactory. If you know your business better than anybody, so if you know, I don't have that many people in there, but I've done a really great job of communicating with them, I want my conversion rate to at least be 7%, 10%, whatever number. The example I used here is using the 201 contacts, 201 Club, anyone is familiar with that. And saying we closed 12 transactions, which gets us to about a 6% conversion rate.
You should all be trying to get to the 201. There's a show, the math shows a dramatic difference between what happens if you've got 150 contact versus what you have above that 200 number. So the goal is to genuinely try to get to that contact number.
Good one. Make it a goal. All right, if you do your conversion ratio and it's not really what you want it to be, say you have a lot of people in your database and you've only done a few transactions from them this year. That's fine. It's just an indicator that your marketing either isn't consistent enough to stay top of mind with people, or perhaps you haven't really done a great job with doing any marketing to your people to remind them that you're in real estate. So if that conversion ratio number is lower than you want it to be, I would take that as a sign to increase your marketing efforts, increase the frequency of what you're doing so that people really know you're in real estate. Secondarily to that, consider who's in your database. Is it truly a contact, somebody who knows you? Or is it, somebody who you met at an open house when you just got started in real estate and you just kind of put them in your CRM and you haven't done anything with them since that, and that was 10 years ago. Perhaps that's not a true contact anymore. They don't really have that relationship with you. So evaluate your marketing, evaluate the health of your database if that ratio is a little bit lower than you want it to be. I thought I'd switch this one out. Quick note on this, because I know compensation's a little bit of a hot topic. There's no average compensation or commission. It is not preset. It is not an industry. However, I would say most people have an idea what their personal average compensation looks like. So that is the number to be using in here. We're not telling you what to charge anything. Is that okay? Is that enough disclaimer? Okay.
That's good.
You should know what your average,
Yeah.
what your average commission is,
Yeah.
right? We may go into it, and again, she won't say this, but I will, like, we may go into it saying, hey, we charge 3%. But the reality is we've got deals where we're doing less than that, right? Or maybe we're getting, so make sure you know what your numbers are as you're going across this.
6, 7, or 8.
So you can use that, take the total number of contacts in your database, divide that by 12, multiply it by 2, that gets you that 12 to 2 ratio. That gives you that potential number of transactions. If you're marketing to them consistently, 12 to 2. Multiply that by your average compensation, and that brings you to that total financial opportunity that you have in your database. So something to keep in mind, especially as we're getting into business planning time of year, I would encourage you to do this when you're talking about setting your budget for the year so that you know realistically how much there is in your database so that you can set your marketing budget for communicating with them. It might be a higher number than you expect. I always encourage people when you're doing this math, think about the value of your database. Think about how much it would cost if you had to replace your database. So if you were buying leads, how much would that cost to buy 201 qualified, verified leads in a year? It's kind of gone up recently. Zillow's charging like somewhere in the 200s for a qualified lead. So think of that when you're planning out what you're going to be spending to reach out to your database. Make sure you know the value of your database and then treat your database like it is worth that much money. All right, any questions on the math part of things in here? No, it's numbers in the morning, sorry, but I do think it's important to know why we do these things. The joy of marketing to your Mets is we get to be super fun and show our personality with what we're doing, but it needs to have a plan and it needs to make sense numbers wise as well. Otherwise, we're just sending out fun things to send out fun things. We need to have the why behind what we're doing. So that brings us to the planning portion of 36 Touch. I encourage you guys to start with events. So if you're planning to host 4 client events, 3 client events, 1 client event, however many you would want to have, start with planning that out because that sets the framework for the rest of your 36 Touch throughout the year. So say you're doing a fall festival in October. So you write down October 2026, I'm doing a fall festival. That tells you already what you need to be doing in August and September is focusing on inviting people to that fall festival. So maybe your mail pieces are the physical invite. You're doing emails that are save the dates. You're making your phone calls, inviting people to come. Things like that makes it very easy to get those other touches in if you have the framework around events. If you're not planning to do events, I encourage people to then think about what items of value are you going to be sending out? If you know you have a bunch of really die-hard football fans in your database, you'll probably want to make sure you send out football magnets in, August, September. Go ahead and put that on the schedule. If you're planning to send 4 items of value, go ahead and plan those out when you're sending them, what they'll be. And that gives you more of a framework. Okay, so if I know I'm sending football in August, then July, I'll probably do something a little more cost efficient. I'll just do a postcard in July because I know I have that higher value mailer coming up. Or I know I'm going to be sending out a really bougie, fun Christmas card in December. So in November, I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I'm just going to send out a little recipe card for Thanksgiving. Create the framework so that you have time to plan and make things impactful. And it saves you the scramble of realizing something's coming up that you could have done a mailer for it, but now it's too late because if by the time you send it out now, 4th of July will have coming on, it'll be too late for it. Go ahead and send it out, plan out what you think you want to do, and create some guidelines for yourself. If you write it down, a much higher chance that it actually happens and it happens with intent. So start with your events, then plan out your items of value. Next is going to be